After the shooting in Charleston, obviously a huge issue is whether we are going to take down the Confederate flag from the Capitol grounds in South Carolina. Well, in the beginning, people were not inclined in that direction. When I say people, of course, I mean Republicans. So Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a senator from South Carolina, had this to say.
This is part of who we are. The flag represents to some people a civil war, and that was the symbol of one side. To others, it's a racist symbol, and it's been used by people. It's been used in a racist way. But the problems we have in South Carolina and throughout the world are not because of the movie or symbols, because what's in people's heart. That we make sure that the compromise in South Carolina works here, that we look and see what is going on in Baltimore.
The compromise of being able to still fly the Confederate flag because it's part of the proud tradition for some Carolinians. Yeah,
there's a Confederate War Memorial out front, and there's an African-American memorial.
And that works for you.
It works here.
It's part of who we are. That's what Lindsey Graham said. Well, that's before they took a lot of flack. In fact, at the time, right after the shootings, a lot of the Republican presidential candidates and people who were thinking of entering the race were asked about this issue. Here was their mealy-mouthed, non-committal answers at the time.
I don't know that issue. It's an issue that South Carolina needs to deal with, and again, I don't know all the complexities of how that was decided.
The people of South Carolina reached an agreement of what should be done down there, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot more discussions.
Those are decisions best made at the state level.
That's a decision for the people of South Carolina.
Now is the time to grieve and mourn for those who have been lost. The entire country is now standing shoulder to shoulder with the minority community, the African American community in South Carolina, and God bless them.
This is an awful time. This is a time for healing. This is a time for healing for the people of South Carolina, for the people of our country. There's time for political discussion later. This isn't the time for that.
Oh, no, not the time to talk about the flag. When are you going to talk about the flag? Well, actually, last year, Nikki Haley, the governor, Republican governor of South Carolina, was asked about it. She said it actually wasn't a concern because you're going to love this. Quote, she's not had one conversation with a single CEO about the Confederate flag. Oh, well, if CEOs don't object, well, then obviously it's not an issue. Look at the mindset of a Republican. Well, if no CEO disagrees, why would I care? Why would I care? It's not like I represent all the people of South Carolina. Well, now they've taken a lot of heat for it, and obviously it doesn't look good, so now the situation has changed. Now, before we get to their flip-flop on this, and thank God for the flip-flop, let me give you a statement that the president made on it, kind of. Eric Schultz, who's the White House spokesman, told reporters, Obama believes the Confederate flag belongs in a museum. That is such an annoying statement. That's a typical Obama half measure. If you don't know politics, trust me, that they had a meeting about that, and they decided the exact language they would use. Well, we don't want to offend people by saying, take it down. Oh, that seems overly aggressive. And then Fox News is going to come out and say, oh, why is the president getting involved in this local issue? Oh, the president is, making it worse, etc. So let's say that it belongs in a museum. So we're not saying we're take it down, it belongs somewhere. It's a museum, seems respectful. Just say it. Say it. Take it down. Take it down. And if Fox News complains, there's a whole hashtag, hashtag take it down. If Fox News complains, then you start a new hashtag called hashtag suck it, right? But no, I know the president doesn't do that. He's a very polite guy. I don't actually want the president to do that literally, okay? But I want him to have that attitude of, I don't care what Fox News says. Anyway, fine. He at least puts some pressure in the right direction, and overall it works. So now, the guy, in my opinion, who actually deserves the most credit here, and the one that I think swung the scales of public opinion and led to the right result, is actually a Republican. He's a Republican state legislator in South Carolina named Doug Brannon. And he came out and said this.
I had a friend die Wednesday night for no reason other than he was a black man. Senator Pinckney was an incredible human being. I don't want to talk politics, but I'm going to introduce the bill for that reason. Again, I'm not a politician tonight, but I do have access, and I will introduce that bill in December. I will pre-file that bill in December before we go back into session.
God bless Doug Brannon. He said, look, I served with the guy. Remember, he wasn't just a Reverend Pinckney. He was also a state legislator. And he said, that was a friend of mine, man. They shot him dead. And that guy, Dylan Roof, he had pictures with Confederate flags all over. He knew what it meant. He knew what it meant to him. He knows what it means to all racists down in the South. Now, it doesn't mean everybody who has a Confederate flag is a racist. Do the racists down in the South use Confederate flags? You know they do. You know they do. And that's what Dylan Roof proudly wore. He wore it all the time, okay? So here is a Republican stepping up and doing the right thing, and he shamed, I think, the rest of his party into going along. So finally, Governor Nikki Haley gave this press conference.
For many people in our state, the flag stands for traditions that are noble. Traditions of history, of heritage, and of ancestry. The hate-filled murderer who massacred our brothers and sisters in Charleston has a sick and twisted view of the flag. In no way does he reflect the people in our state who respect and in many ways revere it. Those South Carolinians view the flag as a symbol of respect, integrity, and duty. They also see it as a memorial, a way to honor ancestors who came to the service of their state during time of conflict. That is not hate, nor is it racism. At the same time, for many others in South Carolina, the flag is a deeply offensive symbol of a brutally oppressive past. As a state, we can survive, and indeed we can thrive, as we have done, while still being home to both of those viewpoints. We do not need to declare a winner and a loser here. We respect freedom of expression, and that for those who wish to show their respect for the flag on their private property, no one will stand in your way. But the Statehouse is different, and the events of this past week call upon us to look at this in a different way. We are here in a moment of unity in our state, without ill will, to say it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds. There will be some in our state who see this as a sad moment. I respect that. But know this, for good and for bad, whether it is on the Statehouse grounds or in a museum, the flag will always be a part of the soil of South Carolina.
Oh, that's so refreshing to hear. So, of course, they got to split the baby. I mean, don't get me wrong. All the racists in South Carolina who voted for me as your Republican governor, I still love you. I mean, oh, it is part of our soul in South Carolina. I deeply respect your racist attitudes. I mean, your attitudes about the Confederate flag and our wonderful heritage. Hey, what was that heritage about? What was the point of that whole rebellion? You know, when you turned against the United States of America and fought a war with the United States of America? So the people proudly holding up the Confederate flag are the most un-American people in the history of the world. Those are the people who said, yes, it was wonderful to go to war against America, right? So what is that you're protecting? Oh, states' rights. And it was your right as a state in South Carolina to do what? What did you want to protect? Oh, right, slavery. What was there another larger issue that I missed? Oh, well, there's economic factors. Yeah, the economy revolving around slavery. States' rights revolving around the right to keep slaves. If you deny that, you're either purposely obtuse or you're a really, really dumb person. Oh, what? Civil War? What was that? States' rights to grow cucumbers. I don't know, right? No, it was about slavery. So, no, I don't deeply respect that, but I get what she did. And, hey, finally, right decision. So thank God for that. And all of a sudden, here comes the backpedals. Senator Lindsey Graham. Oh, me? No, not in favor of the flag. No, sure, yeah, go ahead and take it out. Backpedal, backpedal, backpedal. So all of a sudden, Senator Lindsey Graham, not part of who we are, take down the flag. Okay, Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC. Can you imagine? This flag has become too divisive and too hurtful for too many of our fellow Americans. While some say it represents different things to different people, there is no denying that it also represents serious divisions that must be mended in our society. Oh, look at that. The Republicans have found religion. Okay, so finally, golly gee, the party who ran what they called the Southern Strategy, which was a strategy to get racist white votes in the South by turning against all legislation that would help African Americans. That was a strategy. They literally, another head of the RNC apologized for that strategy. They're like, yeah, for 40 years we chose a racist strategy. And now in the year 2015, they're like, oh yeah, the Confederate flag. I guess people have mixed emotions about that. Well, you're a little late, but thanks for joining the party. And then finally, even the turtle poked his head out to say, yes, Mitch McConnell, time to move beyond a flag that continues to be a painful reminder of racial oppression to many. Well, thank you for noticing. So finally, though, down goes the flag. Down goes the Confederate flag. It is a good moment in American history.